Hey, welcome to another album today, and today I decided to go back to probably one of my favorite albums that I've covered, which was 1X from 3 Days Grace. So today I bring another 3 Days Grace album. Today we have the first album that they released as 3 Days Grace, the self-titled. 3 Days Grace. I mean, you get the point. But yes, so this album was the one that came before 1X, as I mentioned. And honestly, considering how much I loved 1X, I was really excited to grab this album. And I'm glad I did, because honestly, this album is pretty fucking good. For their first album, I'm actually impressed at the quality that the album as a whole actually has. From my understanding, again, this was not like their first time together, because they had like a band before by another name that put out an album in the 90s, so it's not like it was their first album, but even then, like, even if you consider this their second album, it's pretty good album. I will say that it does give me a lot of vibes of 1X. However, the two big differences is I think this album is a bit more raw. Like, the quality is there, definitely, especially the sound quality is there, but it's definitely a little bit more raw. Like, I feel that some songs are a bit more on the underdeveloped side, comparatively speaking, to 1X, where it feels like every single song is just like could be the single of the album almost, and there are so many, like pretty much every song on that album is just so great, right? This album does have some songs that are a little bit more of a I guess letdown. Not a letdown, but like, they're not as good as perhaps some of the others in the album. With that being said, yeah, there's still very, very good songs here, and as a whole, I think it's understandable why 3 Days Grace got so big. I think this album really helped be that first stepping stone that then would prompt 1X to absolutely explode, and rightfully so. This album definitely does feel, like the songs do feel a bit more underdeveloped, and another thing, another of the differences that this album has with 1X. 1X seems to be a bit more well-rounded. I think that a lot of the songs in this album are a bit more on the darker side, where 1X, you do have songs that are on the darker side, but at the same time, a lot of them have a component of being a bit uplifting, especially the closer 1X, which is really uplifting, whereas in this album, you don't really have that. Like, you have the typical, darker songs from 3 Days Grace, but you don't have any that is actually like uplifting or anything like that, right? Obviously this was still early days, so I understand why, especially contextually speaking, from a cultural point of view, this came out in 2003, so back then a lot of the music was getting way darker, but things were getting way darker. Even in the gaming industry, things were getting way darker, right? Cinema was starting to give way to these super dramatic movies with high stakes and everything, right? We were in the future in a way, but it wasn't a good future, I guess, and that's why, like, a lot of the media is dark, and that's why this album is more on the darker side, and later on it starts being a bit more uplifting. So yeah, those are the two, I guess, contrasting things with 1X. But yeah, outside of that, honestly, this is pretty much an extension of 1X. Or I would say that 1X is the extension of this. Like, the 1X is basically a good sequel to this album. Like, I think these two albums can be considered pretty much two parts, right? Because yeah, like, a lot of what 1X does well, they also did here, and a lot of the things, a lot of the groundwork was definitely done on this album. To speak a little bit more on the songs themselves, I was actually really impressed at just the sheer consistency and quality again. Like, I've already mentioned that with 1X, but again, I was incredibly impressed at the consistency of the quality of this album. Like, pretty much every song is pretty good, and I was actually, like, funny thing, I was listening to a lot of these songs, and then I was like, wait, I know this song. Because I thought at the beginning, oh, I know, like, Om, I know the Just Like You, and I Hate Everything About You, which were, like, the most well-known songs on the album. But then I realized, wait, no, I also know like Drown, for example, Lay You Down, right? Now or Never, because I listened to them back in the day from Runsky music videos. So I guess I actually already knew a lot of the songs from this album without even realizing that they were from this album. But yeah, like obviously songs like I Hate Everything About You are pretty well known, especially when it comes to the fandom and even outside of the fandom. This was one of the songs that became incredibly popular. I mean, yeah, the songs have a lot of quality. However, my favorite had to be actually, I'm not sure because I did like a lot Take Me Under, but I don't know, like, because as a whole, I think that pretty much only Burn and Scared were the two only songs that I kind of like. It's not that I didn't vibe with them, but they just didn't grab me as much as the rest. The rest of the album was actually pretty good. And yeah, I mean, I think Take Me Unders probably actually takes it as my favorite song. Either way, it's an incredibly strong album. One of the things that I will actually say about the album is that unfortunately, contrary to 1X, I have a bigger difficulty hearing the bass on this album, and I feel like the bass is maybe a bit underdeveloped in some of these songs, or at least it's not given as big of a light as it does in 1X. But for example, in 1X, Animal I Have Become. That song is pretty much entirely done with the bass, as in like the bass makes that song, right? The killer bass intro and the bass that plays throughout the song is what makes the song entirely, right? I didn't have the same here on this album. Actually, much the opposite. This album showcases that the guitar work is actually really good in 3 Days Grace. I think that in 1X especially I kind of took it for granted and didn't realize how good it actually was, but here you can actually see that. And again, like songs like I Hate Everything About You are actually perfect for that, because the guitar is so prominent, or not prominent, but it's so important, like it imposes itself on songs like those, right? Or Just Like You is also a very good example of a song where especially the distortion on the guitars and everything is really good. And something actually that I noticed on Just Like You, I know that there's a backing vocals on this band, because I know that some stuff isn't sung by Adam, at least not at this point, because I know later on we have Matt, but I didn't realize that at the beginning. Like the first time years ago when I listened to that song, I didn't realize the backing vocals were actually sung by the drummer of the band. The drummer of the band is the one that does the backing vocals, and it does such a good job. Because at first, like I thought it was Adam doing those backing vocals, and then just recording the chorus and just layering them on the song. But no, it's actually the drummer that does those backing vocals, and that was actually really surprising to me, because I didn't expect out of every person the drummer to do that. But yeah, that's like overall the album in my opinion ends up way stronger, like especially because you're already in the vibe and everything. But yeah, at least towards the end, again, like songs like Take Me Under or Overrated, I was vibing way more with them, as if they were from 1X than if they were from this album. So I think that towards the end of the album is where the songs do feel a bit more developed as opposed to the beginning, where if you take away the songs that are mostly well known, like again Burn or Scared, they are maybe not as developed. Again, they're not bad, don't get me wrong. Like I'm judging these by a 3 Days Grace standard, not a emo rock standard, because from an emo rock standard those songs are amazing, right? Like again, I cannot understate or overstate rather how honestly very good this band is. The quality that they have is really, really good, and I think that's why they have survived all of these years, even when the culture has moved on from the emo genre or whatever. They have stayed there. They still have people listening to, be it their old songs or their new songs, because yeah, they are just that good. Their quality is just that consistent, and has stayed consistent throughout the years. So I think this album, and my vibe meter is telling me like a solid 9 out of 10, I think. Yeah, I think a solid 9 out of 10 is fair for this album. So yeah, I'll see you tomorrow.